Welcome to the Broadway.com show, filmed right in the heart of Times Square. I'm Imogen Lloyd-Webber.
And I'm Paul Wontorek. Today we're getting a Latin history lesson, catching up with the cast of the Color Purple Tour, and getting an exclusive look at both Aladdin and Beautiful, the Carole King musical.
And later, we're hanging out with Christie Prades, who is headlining the national tour of On Your Feet in the role of pop superstar Gloria Estefan.
But first, let's get started with the news. What's the buzz, Imogen?
Sara Bareilles' Waitress, headlined by former Broadway.com vlogger Betsy Wolfe, continues to bake up a storm at the Brooks Atkinson Theatre. Singer-songwriter Jason Mraz will make his Broadway debut in the musical on Friday, November the 3rd, replacing Drew Gayling as Dr. Palmatta. The two-time Grammy winner has earned platinum or multi-platinum certifications for his recordings in more than 20 countries, sold 48 million singles, and also featured on the tracks Bad Idea and You Matter to Me on Bareilles' top 10 album What's Inside Songs from Waitress. Mraz is scheduled to remain with a piping hot hit for 10 weeks. As previously reported, two-time Tony winner John Cullum is set to join the company as Joe from October the 5th. And now I can't get I'm Yours out of my brain.
Broadway's upcoming Pretty Woman, the musical, has found its stars. Tony Award winner Steve Kazee of Once is taking on the role of Edward Lewis in the new show, with Les Miserables film star Samantha Barks playing the prostitute who wins his heart, Vivian Ward. The roles were, of course, made famous by Richard Gere and Julia Roberts in the smash 1990 film. Before hitting Broadway, Pretty Woman will play a 5-week run at Chicago's Oriental Theater starting March 13, 2018. Jerry Mitchell is directing and choreographing the show, and chart-topping rocker Bryan Adams is co-writing the score. Expect to see Pretty Woman on the streets of Times Square in the fall of 2018, when the musical is expected to open on Broadway.
Broadway seems to love a working girl, Paul.
So true. Sweet Charity, The Life, Best Little Whorehouse, Grisabella.
She's a glamour cat, not a prostitute.
Keep telling yourself that, Imogen.
Christmas has come early. Matthew Broderick has been tapped as the narrator in Fox's next live musical, A Christmas Story. Appearing as a grown-up Ralphie Parker, the two-time Tony winner will reminisce about his favourite childhood Christmas. As previously reported, Maya Rudolph is set to play Ralphie's mum. The show is inspired by both the beloved 1983 film and Tony-nominated musical by Dear Evan Hansen's Tony-winning team, Benj Pasek and Justin Paul, who will write several new songs for the broadcast. The 3-hour live event is scheduled to air on December the 17th. Fox has also now set another date for our calendars, January the 27th, 2019, when we'll get to see their live version of Jonathan Larson's beloved Rent.
As we reported last week, the Patti LuPone Christine Ebersole vehicle Warpaint will play its final Broadway performance December 30th. But fear not, Patti fans. The two-time Tony-winning star has announced her next musical vehicle. She will cross the pond to play Joanne in the Stephen Sondheim George Firth musical Company at London's Gielgud Theatre. Although LuPone is classic casting for the role, which was originated by Elaine Stritch and LuPone herself played opposite Neil Patrick Harris, the production is a gender-bending reboot. Bobby is now B-O-B-B-I and female, and will be played by Olivier Award-nominated actress Rosalie Craig. Under the direction of Tony-winning director Marianne Elliott, Company will start performances December 26, 2018.
A spate of knot-tying has been going on this week. Broadway's Philippa Sue and Stephen Pasquale were married on September the 24th. The happy couple got engaged in 2016 after Sue's Hamilton co-star Jonathan Groff introduced them. Both will appear on The Great White Way this fall, Sue in The Parisian Woman and Pasquale in Junk. And Broadway supernova, Tony winner Idina Menzel, married Aaron Law, posting some gorgeous photos on social media. Fun facts, the couple shared some racy scenes in the Public's 2005 production of See What I Wanna See, and also appeared together that year in the film version of Rent. It's a season of love, Paul.
Jonathan Groff, Broadway matchmaker.
Do you have his card?
Maybe we can get a 2-for-1 deal. Are you excited to see the CHER Show? So are we. The CHER bio-musical, yes, it's called the CHER Show, will open at Broadway's Neil Simon Theatre in the fall of 2018. Featuring a book by Jersey Boys scribe Rick Ellis, direction by Avenue Q's Jason Moore, and choreography by Newsies Tony winner Christopher Gattelli, this hotly anticipated, sure-to-be-splashy new show will tell the story of CHER, with 3 actresses, and feature all your favorite hit songs. Prior to Broadway, the CHER Show will dazzle Windy City audiences at Chicago's Oriental Theater next summer with a 5-week run that starts June 12th. Do you believe in assless chaps, towering headpieces, and a powerful, winning, tough-as-nails heroine on Broadway? So do we.
After the break, John Leguizamo talks up Latin history for morons, we meet the ladies of the Color Purple Tour, and more.
Time is running out to see Warpaint, starring two-time Tony Award winners Patti LuPone and Christine Ebersole. Now through December 30th only. The New York Times says these deliciously paired Broadway legends are knockouts. These are 2-star turns for the ages. Don't miss your last chance to see Broadway's once-in-a-lifetime event, Warpaint.
Hi, I'm Harvey Firestein, and you are watching the Broadway.com show. Yeah, they got a show. This is it.
Welcome back. John Leguizamo's newest solo show, Latin History for Morons, is heading to Broadway after a sold-out run off-Broadway at the Public Theater. In the show, Leguizamo offers a crash course across continents and centuries to discover the great figures of the Latino world. We recently caught up with the tour de force writer and actor to talk about us morons and what we might learn at his show.
The morons were a lot of people, me, my family, everyone I know, you, I'm sorry, and you. Because, you know, we just don't know about Latin history. I didn't grow up being taught it in schools, and my kids weren't. And I feel like that does such a disservice. It makes Latin people so vulnerable to all kinds of attacks. Latin people, we have the highest rate of bullying in the workplace, 40%. So if people knew that we helped build this country, that we're the sons and daughters of the American Revolution, they wouldn't treat us in the same way. It's pretty exciting to be able to teach people. I think it's a powerful platform. We're going to meet some of the people in the American Revolution. You're going to meet some people from the Aztec Empire, Montezuma, Cortez. You're going to meet some Pizarro and Atahualpa, the king of the Incas, General Galvez, who was a Latin general in New Orleans who gave $70,000 worth of weapons to George Washington. So we helped fund the American Revolution. But it's just me. It's pretty funny. It's pretty ridiculous, but not completely. You know, it's not really just. I'm not making up stuff and not bullshitting you. I'm telling you real facts. Just making them palatable by making them funny.
Although Leguizamo likes to joke around, his show grew out of a very real desire to find Latino heroes to look up to. The research paid off. You
know, my son was being bullied at school, and I wanted to find sort of the facts and the words to give him to protect himself. So he would do it with words and not be violent about it. You know, I want him to protect himself verbally. So I started doing all this research to give him all this, give him a little empowerment. I ended up being the one that I was being empowered, was me. The one that was being sort of self-worth was being built up was my own. And it was incredible to feel that. And I was going, oh my God, this show, if I can get this out there to the American public, the general public, to the Latin public, what difference can we make? I mean, can we get these contributions back into textbooks? I mean, I've read enough texts to have my own class. I'm not sure they pay as well, though, as Broadway, so maybe not.
We're always excited to get a sneak peek backstage at a Broadway theatre. This time we headed to the Stephen Sondheim to check out the dressing room of Evan Todd, who plays Jerry Goffin in Beautiful, the Carole King musical. Todd showed us his 5 favourite things, which include his acceptance letter from Juilliard, a place of importance for his rejection letter from Yale, and a holy candle for the goddess we all worship. Take a look.
So this originally was one piece of paper. This is the first note that my middle school drama teacher, she was my mentor and really the reason why I started doing theater. She cast me in my first musical, The Wiz, and she wrote me this on opening night of a show called A Christmas Carol. And then she wrote me this when she came and saw me in my first Broadway show. So Mr. and Mrs. Cochran came, and they were the most important people to me in my life. So I'm really glad to have this here. So this is actually my acceptance letter to Juilliard, which completely changed my life. I thought I was going to go to a liberal arts school and study political communications and maybe minor in theater, but I got into Juilliard, and this awesome woman named Kathy Hood gave me a phone call and said that I got in, and then shortly after, I got this letter. So just before I started the show, my mom made me clean out my room, and I found the Juilliard acceptance letter, and I also found my Yale rejection letter. So I decided that I should put it right next to the toilet. Not actually because I'm bitter. It was where I thought I was going to go. It was what I thought I was going to do. It was where I was hoping I was going to go. But just because as a reminder that sometimes things don't work out, but then they kind of do. So it ended up working out. But I like having it here, next to the toilet. And right next to my Yale rejection letter, I have my Beyonce candle. I'm pretty spiritual. And I lit her when I auditioned for this show, and then I booked it. So she's pretty powerful. So this guy gets me through pretty much every show, and when I found out I booked the job, I literally hung up the phone and then ordered an espresso machine because I really thought they were cool and I couldn't get one. And then I booked a job, so it was my gift to myself. And yeah, it's kind of my favorite thing. So that's it. Thanks for checking out my dressing room. It was designed by Dean Arcuri over at Inimitable, so thank you so much for making the space feel like a second home. I tried to fill it with as many things that reminded me of where I came from, and it's just a pretty cool, special place for me. So thanks for checking it out, and come check me out as Jerry Goffin in Beautiful, the Carole King musical.
After a triumphant run on Broadway, the Tony-winning revival of The Color Purple is ready to raise spirits all across America with a national tour that kicks off in October, featuring 3 actresses from the Broadway company in the iconic roles of Celie, Sophia, and Shug Avery. This powerful take on the Alice Walker story of triumph over all is a must-see. We recently got a peek of the show at a New York City rehearsal.
Like a blade of corn, like a honeybee.
Color Purple follows the story of Celie, who goes through multiple experiences in her life, and it talks about her journey of finding herself and finding out what love actually is through so many different things, and it's a great story. I'm really excited to be a part of it.
The Color Purple just has so many themes. There's so much strength with women, the sisterhood, the story of forgiveness, redemption. I mean, this show just speaks to so many places in your emotions and just takes you on a ride.
To be able to take this show now on tour and to take it to places and to people who had no opportunity to get to New York is such a blessing. I feel so privileged to be able to do that.
Every person can relate to it, so that's why it's needed now, and it spreads the word of love. Our country needs that right now.
The cast promises the show's rousing score, written by 3 chart-topping R&B and pop songwriters, will get audiences out of their seats.
Listen, you will laugh, cry, say amen. That's what the music does for this show.
It's like going to church. I mean, it is really, there. You are getting a full range of gospel, bluegrass, pop. These vocalists are going to blow the country's minds.
I'll sing a song, and then I'll sing a song. And we sang in this show.
From the very beginning, from the very first chord, it's church, it's Sunday morning, and it's a good time, and you'll feel that.
The Color Purple is known to evoke strong emotions from theatergoers, a fact that has the show's stars excited to tour.
When I did the previous production, it was amazing to see every person in the audience, multicolored audience, just really walk away with something special and feeling revived.
You're going to be uplifted, you're going to laugh, you're going to cry, you're going to go on a journey for sure. And be prepared with your amens, because we break that fourth wall and we talk to you guys. You become one of the town's people. And so just be ready.
I would say you're going to have a purple night. Whatever kind of night you want, whatever kind of night you need in your life, that's what you're going to have. You're going to have a purple night.
The Street Rats of Aladdin took to the streets of New York City for an exclusive Broadway.com photo shoot with photographer Matthew Murphy. Take a look at the making of these dazzling images.
The shoot we just did was pretty awesome. We got to come all the way out here to Long Island City and do a shoot that was centered around being a street rat. And so we were all wearing like layered clothes and whatnot, and we shot in different locations.
We got to adventure outside into the rain a little bit. We did a few dance shots like out in the dirt. We did a few movement shots, and we got to like show off our really cute gloves that we got to wear today too.
Matthew Murphy is a dream to work with, so that kind of was helpful. Yeah. It was a fun day. It was a fun day. The rain didn't stop us, I'll tell you that.
I think my favorite thing about being in the Aladdin ensemble is how much fun we have. It's a very exuberant, joyful group of people, and it's just fun to be on a set every day that's so colorful, costumes and set-wise, but also people-wise. I think we have one of the most diverse casts on Broadway, and it makes me really proud to be a part of.
Of course, Aladdin's Agrabah has a different look than this gritty NYC realism, but the magic is still there as the talented dancers show off their moves.
with your coworkers is, I don't know, it's a blessing.
When we come back, we sit down with On Your Feet tour star Christie Prades.
Ben Brantley of the New York Times calls The Book of Mormon the best musical of this century. This was my 4th time seeing it, and they still had me at hello. Winner of 9 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. The Book of Mormon on Broadway.
Christie Prades is starring as music icon Gloria Estefan in the touring production of On Your Feet, which is set to conga around the country this fall. Prades recently stopped by the Broadway.com studio in the heart of Times Square to talk about playing the pop superstar and why audiences will be caught up in the rhythm of this show. Christie, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited to chat with you. I love the show. Okay. You're wonderful. So this is very exciting. Tell me, first of all, what was it like to find out that you were going to be leading the national tour of On Your Feet? What was that moment like for you?
Well, I always have to go back to it because I don't remember that moment,
okay.
But gladly it was recorded.
Right.
So it was a very shocking yet exciting moment for me, especially getting asked by Gloria Estefan.
Yeah.
It was shocking because she had asked it so nonchalantly. She was like, "How would you like to lead the tour?" And everybody's just kind of like,
what?
And I didn't even answer her. She's like, so, and I was like, oh, wait, I have to give you an answer or something. That's Gloria and Emilio. They want to be the ones to be involved and to be asking the questions. And when she did it in front of all the peeps in Miami, all the news stations there, it was exciting, and it was real.
Putting you on the spot.
Yeah, putting me on the spot. She's like, so like yes or no, and I'm like, oh, well, of course, but like we'll speak details later, I guess. But what's happening? It was exciting and I'm very lucky that it was from Gloria herself.
No, that's super cool. And you, speaking of Miami, you were born and raised in Miami.
Yes,
you're Cuban American. I hope it's safe to assume this music and Gloria Estefan was a big part of growing up in York. So how familiar were you with this, their music and them, and why do you think this production gets their story right?
Well, when I was younger, I always remember my mom and my dad were did a really good job as far as like showing me music and different styles and different decades. And they always showed Gloria and Emilio to my brother and I as examples of the American dream and of Cuban immigrants coming to this country and creating something from nothing. And their story was always relevant with my parents' story, with my grandparents' story, but also with us. So it was always kind of a reminder that anything is possible, and they were the perfect example of that.
I want to talk about this role a little bit. What excites you most about playing Gloria? I mean, it's a real person, someone who you've been familiar with since you were a little girl. What excites you most about it?
I feel extremely spoiled because with this role, not only is it Gloria Estefan, someone who I've looked up to since I was a kid, my parents, everyone, but it's a story about me. It's a story about that I can put myself, my choices, my personality, my decision making into this role. And yes, while still honoring her and what she feels and her backstory, I get to kind of just be me and just be authentic and be real. And the more that I am myself, I've noticed that the more the story succeeds and my role is able to be read really well.
Is there a moment or a song that you, like in the process of working on it, that you have a lot of fun with, that you're most excited for people to see on the road?
I love Tradición, which is one of the opening numbers. I feel like that is the essence of Miami, a flavor of our culture, of fun and light and joy and innocence and love for the music. And I feel every time that, and it's it's one of the opening numbers.
It sets the stage.
Yeah, it sets the tone, it sets everything, and it starts the show with like such a bang. And I feel such a sense of pride and excitement and that extra adrenaline rush that I need for the rest of the show.
People love this show. It's a huge hit. People are so enthusiastic about it. What do you think? For you, what is it about this show that makes it such a success and makes people so enthusiastic about it?
It's relatable. I feel like Gloria and Emilio are two individuals that are so personable, that are so normal, I guess you would say. What is normal, right? That are normal and that are approachable and that are loving and that are humble. And while they're still beyond successful and have brought up artists that we know today. It's a story of you and I. It's a story of the audience watching, of starting from scratch, of starting from one, of starting from, you know, nothing but a dream. And I feel like people connect with that. There's a lot more pressure now with social media and with so many things that are telling us to be something that we're not, and forcing us to be something that we're not. And I feel like this show kind of tells you it's okay to be you, to embrace where you're from, to enjoy it, and to love your journey, even with your failures, and to really believe that you can do anything and be anything that you want to be.
And you're at the part of your career, you are literally taking off. You've made your Broadway debut. You're leading your first national tour. What thrills you most about like being part of a touring production and going across the country, North America, the world? Who knows? Like what excites you most about that?
Well, I'm very excited to start it from the beginning, to see the process build. We have half of the cast is from the Broadway production. I think about 16. 16 of us are coming from the Broadway production. Taking some family with you. Taking some family, taking some like authenticity from the beginning. And then we're also bringing these new cast members who are hungry, who are stupid talented, who have so much to offer. They're hungry to bring their essence. So many Latinos, which is great. But for me, it's starting from the beginning and getting that experience of seeing things build, of making this role my own.
And finally, as this show goes across the country and hits cities all over, why do you hope people seek out this show and come and see you guys?
Well, one, it sells itself. Like Gloria's music is
universal.
It, even if you don't you know it, you love it. And even the songs that you don't know that she sings, you're going to hear it and you're going to be like, because that happened to me. I was like, wait, she sings this song. It's uplifting, it's real, it's full of energy, it's full of motivation, it's full of spice, of flavor, of fire. And I feel like I haven't met one person that hasn't felt that upon leaving the show. But people really do get hooked, and I know that around the nation, this is meant to be on the road. This is meant to be on the road for this reason. Well, thank you so much for joining. I'm so happy to chat with you. Make sure you find out when On Your Feet is playing your city and get your tickets and see this wonderful lady. Thanks so much. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate you.
Of course.
Thank you, guys.
Coming up, we're here to provide you a Little Shop throwback.
Time is running out to see Warpaint, starring two-time Tony Award winners Patti LuPone and Christine Ebersole. Now through December 30th only. The New York Times says these deliciously paired Broadway legends are knockouts. These are two-star turns for the ages. Don't miss your last chance to see Broadway's once-in-a-lifetime event, Warpaint.
Reed Birney here. You're watching the Broadway.com show.
Thank you for watching the Broadway.com show.
We leave you with Rick Moranis and the one and only Ellen Greene singing Suddenly Seymour from the 1986 film Little Shop of Horrors, back in movie theaters with a much more gruesome ending later this month.
See you next week.